All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. Today, I want to share a really important lesson on the relationship between precision and practicality within the context of spiritual maturity. Um, Once you've been in the tradition for long enough to be seasoned and actually have a practice, you start to appreciate the reality of precision, the practicality of precision. And to put it into context, what I mean is that I remember, in the beginning of my practice, I made my first calendar. And on this calendar, it was a one-page calendar that had all this different iconography from the different branches of the Orisha world, right? So I had some Brazilian icons and some Cuban icons and some Nigerian icons and stuff like that. And I'll never forget, I showed it to Aikulola, Nathan Lugo. And he was like, yeah, nice, Baba, this is cool. But it would be really nice if you had all West African iconography. And I think at that time he was really using this hashtag of aesthetic, like this is our aesthetic, something to that effect. This is our aesthetic, I'm pretty sure is what it was. And I thought, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool, because I was looking at it just visually and conceptually, that it's so amazing to see how Yoruba tradition has spread out and retained its integrity, but at the same time transformed around the world. And I like the idea of cultural unity and the reality of cultural unity, because it's because of that I've been able to travel around the world and not be a tourist. I'm going with some intention and purpose, and looking for specific things and looking for specific people. And so not only have I appreciated the art and the music and the aesthetics of the Yoruba world, but like Aikulola, I've been in different places. I've been to Trinidad multiple times. I've been to Panama. I've been to Dominican Republic and Cuba and so on and so forth. I've been around, and I've gotten a chance to see and practice with different people. And so it's a beautiful thing. I'm all for it. However, at the same time, I have learned one wonderful proverb from the Haitians, which I love, which tells us, dog has four legs but only walks in one direction. And what does that mean? Well, it really means that, practically speaking, you can only do one thing. You can only do one thing. You cannot be practicing Haitian Vodun and Brazilian Candomblé and Trinidadian Orisha and Espiritismo from Puerto Rico and West African Orisha from Nigeria and Vodun from Dahomey. It's practically speaking, it just is not possible. Practically speaking, it's not possible. You don't have enough hours in a day to even tend to all those shrines, let alone enough time in your life to be able to fully master what those things are about. And so you come to a point of practicality, right? And of course, I'm reminded of another one of my great stories of when my oldest son was probably about 4. I remember asking him one day, he said, hey, what do you want to do today? And he says, I want to go to the library, and I want to go to the museum, and I want to go to the beach, and I want to go to the mountains, and I want to have a play date with Teo, and I want to go to the taco truck. And I just laugh, because, he's 4. In his mind, these are all the stuff that I like. It's like when, I let my daughter dress herself when she was little. She put on all her favorite outfits. And so one day, she has on layers, and her favorite hat and her jacket and her dress and her boots. And, it's practical. It's practically speaking, it's just not possible. But I, as the adult, I know that we can't just do everything all at once. Today, we're going to have to pick one thing. Maybe we can get away with 2 things. And that's the concept and the reality of dog has 4 legs, but only walks in one direction. So you can have an appreciation and a love for a vast number of practices and traditions. But when it comes down to practicality, when it comes down to what you're going to do tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after, what you're going to actually master, we all know that you're going to have to get more selective. You're going to have to narrow it down. You're going to have to be more precise about what you're doing. And you're going to have to be more precise about what you're calling upon. And so this came to the fore recently because I've been just contemplating some of the things that I see happening amongst my students and some of the things that I see playing out in the online network. And it's important that we make these distinctions between, one and the other, and not continue to perpetuate the idea that all of the manifestations of Eshu are the same thing. And if you call it Legba or Eshu with an X or Eshu with a dotted S, or you call it Echu, then we're all just talking about the same thing. Well, we're talking about something that, yes, comes from the same source. And we can acknowledge that source, and we can recognize that source, and we can celebrate that source. But when it comes to actually venerating Eshu, hey man, in Brazil, they have Pombagira. And you're not going to take a statue of Pombagira over to Nigeria and prop it up and have them be venerating it like Eshu. It's not going to happen. You're not going to take a Yangi stone from Nigeria and go into Haiti and put this Yangi down and have them start venerating that as Legba. So on and so forth. Practically speaking, it's just not possible, because these things occupy a similar role in their various pantheons and within their systems. However, the way you engage with that deity is distinct and unique. And so in the same way that the Christians would just categorize everything that we do as demonic, right? By their vision, they just say, hey, all that is demonic, and that's how we're going to address it. Hey, that's not right. We're not going to accept that. We're not going to tolerate that, because there's a distinction. There's a total difference, actually. And just because it looks the same to you, and just because it falls into a certain category for you, doesn't make it real, doesn't make it actual. It doesn't make it practical. You might hear, people with a Caribbean accent, and you just want to say, oh yeah, it sounds like this, so you must be a Jamaican. Hey man, a Jamaican is not a Belizean. A Belizean is not Guyanese. A Guyanese is not Trini. A Trini is not, right? So you got to respect. At a certain point, when you refuse to acknowledge and really be precise about what you're looking at and who you're talking to, at a certain point, you're being disrespectful. At a certain point, you're being dismissive of the distinctions and the uniqueness of each identity and the rules of engagement that are match with each identity. Okay? And so you end up counteracting and contradicting some of the things that you really want to accomplish when you are too general and you insist upon lumping all things together because they seem the same to you. And so, again, this is something that arises out of maturity. This is maturity that is the result of actual practice and mastery. When you mature and when you actually have a level of mastery, then you have a greater respect for precision. And of course, who are the ones who aspire to this at the highest level? Who are the most sincere and earnest about being real adepts? These are people who are the leaders. And that's who I'm talking to. I'm sending this call out to the leaders, the ones who are really, really, really determined to help bring about positive influence and positive change in the world. If you're one of those people, then I want you to find out how I, Oloye Obafemi Odugunwa, and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the highest level possible. Visit me at orishalifestyle.com or obafemio.com. Let's start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.